The Galactic Council had gathered in the largest chamber ever built in the Orion sector. It floated silently above the star of Zorith, a shining sun that bathed the Council's domed city in golden light. Hundreds of alien representatives stood in silence, each from a species more advanced and dangerous than the last. Their eyes, if they had eyes, watched the holographic display of the human home system. "This is your final warning," said the Supreme Chancellor, a tall being covered in shimmering scales, voice echoing like metal on stone. "Humanity must cease its expansion into Orion. You are trespassing in our territories. Stop, or face annihilation." The hologram showed Earth and several nearby colonies. Red lines marked the territories claimed by the Council. The Council members murmured among themselves, confident in their power. To them, humans were weak, unpredictable, and easily crushed. But on Earth, the response was very different. In the command room of the Orbital Defense Station, Admiral Elena Voss stared at the same hologram. Her jaw was tight, eyes cold with determination. Around her, officers typed commands, monitoring fleets and energy readings. The Council's threat was serious. The Council had destroyed entire civilizations for less. Yet, Elena did not fear. Humanity had survived worse. Humanity had adapted, fought, and won where others had failed. And this time, they would not bow. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "We do not attack, yet. But we will show them we are not afraid." In the Council chamber, the Supreme Chancellor leaned forward, studying Earth's defenses. "Their fleets are small," he murmured. "Their technology is primitive. They are children playing with fire." But children, sometimes, could surprise even the oldest fires. Across the solar system, engineers and scientists were already at work. On Mars, enormous shipyards built vessels that glimmered like silver arrows. On the Moon, scientists tested new energy weapons, ones that even the Council scouts could not fully understand. They worked quietly, without fanfare, because humanity had learned long ago, pride was dangerous, secrecy was power. Meanwhile, humans on Earth lived their daily lives, unaware of the full scale of preparation. Cities thrived. Markets buzzed. Children played. But beneath the surface, the hum of war machines and intelligence networks continued. Humanity was a silent storm. Back in the Council chamber, the warning was repeated. "Cease expansion immediately," the Chancellor said again, each word a thunderclap. "Or the Council will act. Your species will be destroyed." And then, a human diplomat, projecting through holographic communication, responded in calm, clear English. "We have heard your warning. Humanity does not bow. We do not retreat. If you threaten us, we will defend ourselves. This is not a negotiation. This is a declaration. Humanity will survive. We will fight if we must." A stunned silence filled the chamber. Aliens froze in shock. No one had ever dared speak to the Council like this. The holographic image flickered, showing the human diplomat standing straight, unafraid. "Impossible," whispered one counselor from the species of Zitharon. "They are weak. They cannot fight. But the humans could. And they would." On Earth, Admiral Voss gathered her top commanders. Maps of star systems floated in mid-air. Red dots marked known Council patrols. Blue dots marked human colonies. "Our strategy must be clever," she said. "We cannot match their numbers. We cannot match their power. But we can match their thinking. Humans survive by using what others do not expect. That is our advantage. We strike smart, we strike fast, we strike where they are blind." A young lieutenant, nervous but eager, asked, "Ma'am, do you really think they will listen to reason?" Elena shook her head. "No. And we are not asking them to listen. We are telling them that humanity will not be pushed aside. We do not negotiate with annihilation." Meanwhile, deep in the Council's intelligence networks, analysts scrambled. They could not understand human behavior. Humans were unpredictable, reckless, and yet clever. Every time they thought they had an advantage, humans found a way to turn it around. And that unpredictability made the Council nervous. On the orbital station, Admiral Voss watched Earth rise over the horizon of the moon, a pale blue gem in the blackness of space. Her voice was quiet, almost to herself. They think we are weak. They think we will run. They have no idea what humanity is capable of. Somewhere, in the vast galaxy, the Council's fleets began moving. Ships that could crush planets prepared to jump into human-controlled space. But humans were already moving too, silent, fast, and ready. The warning had been issued. The Council believed they held all the cards. But humanity had one card the Council could not see: the will to survive and the courage to fight when all odds were against them. And the war that would shock the galaxy had only just begun. Far beyond the Council's gaze, deep in the human-controlled sectors, massive shipyards thrummed with activity. The hum of engines, the clanging of metal, and the soft buzz of energy shields filled the air. On Mars, giant orbital platforms rotated slowly around the planet, reflecting the red sunlight like polished knives. Admiral Elena Voss walked through the main command hall, eyes sharp. Around her, engineers and scientists worked at breakneck speed, designing weapons and ships that no alien had ever imagined. "Report," she demanded. A young scientist, wiping sweat from his brow, stepped forward. "All new vessels are online, Admiral. Stealth cruisers, hyperspeed frigates, and the new energy disruptors are ready for testing. The first fleet can launch within 72 hours. Voss nodded. "Good. Remember, the Council thinks we are weak. They believe our fleets are small and easy to destroy. That is why our advantage is secrecy. They will never see our true strength coming." Humans had learned long ago that they could not match the galaxy's oldest civilizations in raw power. Instead, they relied on clever designs, unpredictable tactics, and technologies that were difficult to detect. Small, agile ships could slip past huge alien fleets. Energy weapons could disable enemy engines before a single shot hit. And humans were masters of improvisation. In a hidden laboratory on the moon, engineers tested the energy disruptors. Sparks flew, and blue arcs of plasma danced in containment fields. These weapons could temporarily blind a starship's systems, leaving massive vessels helpless against smaller, faster human ships. Outside, the first fleet of stealth cruisers drifted in orbit around Mars. They were sleek, almost invisible against the blackness of space, and armed with weapons that could strike anywhere with deadly precision. Every ship carried a crew trained to think like humans, creative, adaptive, and fearless. "Are we ready for a full simulation?" asked Lieutenant Kiran Shaw, a young officer with sharp eyes and steady hands. Elena looked at him, her expression serious. "Not yet. We test every possibility. We prepare for every outcome. The Council will strike with everything they have. If we fail in the test, real battle will be worse. We cannot afford mistakes." Meanwhile, on Earth, ordinary citizens went about their lives, unaware of the storm building in orbit. Children played in parks, families dined, and markets bustled with energy. But beneath the surface, humans were preparing for war on a scale the galaxy had never seen. Intelligence agents moved quietly across the solar system, gathering data on the Council's fleets, noting weaknesses, and finding opportunities for surprise strikes. Back on Mars, Voss gathered her top officers in a briefing room. A holographic map of the Orion sector hovered above the table, dotted with red and blue lights. "The Council believes they control these systems," she said. "They are wrong. Our job is not just to survive. Our job is to show them that humanity cannot be ignored, cannot be crushed, and cannot be predicted." The officers nodded, their faces set with determination. They knew the risks. The Council had destroyed civilizations before, and the cost of failure was total annihilation. Yet, they also knew the power of humanity's creativity. Where others saw limitations, humans saw opportunity. In a smaller, secret workshop on the moon, a team of engineers finished the final test of a new invention. A small, cube-shaped device hovered in the air, humming softly. It could temporarily jam enemy communications across light years, making the largest fleets blind and disorganized. "This changes everything," said one engineer, eyes wide with excitement. "If we deploy enough of these, even the Council's main fleet could be in chaos before they know what hit them." Voss's voice came over the comms. "Exactly. That is why we fight differently. We don't rely on brute force. We rely on intelligence, speed, and unpredictability. The galaxy has never seen humans fight like this, and they will be shocked." As night fell on Mars, the orbital shipyards glowed with energy, reflecting humanity's resolve. Ships of all sizes lined up, ready for deployment. Every piece of technology, every trained officer, every careful plan was part of a single purpose: survival. In the shadows, a group of intelligence operatives monitored Council patrols. Red dots moved slowly across the map, unaware that humans were already one step ahead. Every fleet movement was logged, every patrol route analyzed. Humans knew the Council would strike, and they were ready to counter before the first blow even landed. And yet, for all their preparation, a single truth remained clear. The galaxy did not expect humans to fight back. They had underestimated them for centuries. And underestimation, as humanity had shown time and again, was often fatal. Admiral Voss stood on the observation deck of the main orbital station, looking at the fleet ready to launch. Her eyes were steady, her jaw firm. "The Council thinks they control the stars," she whispered. "But they have never faced us. And they will never forget us." The secret arsenal was ready. The first strike was only a heartbeat away. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the galaxy waited, unaware that humanity was no longer a species to be ignored. The war was coming. And when it began, the Council would discover that humans fought not just with weapons, but with heart, wit, and an unbreakable will to survive. The blackness of space stretched endlessly, but in the dark corners of the Orion sector, something stirred. Human stealth cruisers drifted silently, hidden from the Council's sensors. Each vessel gleamed faintly, like shadows moving across the stars. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the command deck of the flagship Resolute, watching the holographic map float before her. Red dots marked the Council patrols. Vast fleets, heavily armed, and confident in their superiority. Blue dots marked human ships, small, fast, and unseen. "Target the outer stations first," Voss ordered. "We hit fast, then vanish. Make them question everything they know." Her officers nodded, eyes tense with excitement and fear. This was the first time humanity would strike openly. The Council believed humans would wait, hide, and surrender. They had no idea what was coming. The first shots were silent. Tiny missiles, guided by AI and human intuition, tore through the vacuum of space. The Council's patrol stations barely registered the attack before explosions ripped them apart. A ripple of fire and energy lit the darkness like a sudden lightning storm. On board the Resolute, Lieutenant Kiran Shaw grinned. "They didn't see that coming, Admiral. Their systems are already confused." Voss did not smile. "Good. That is just the beginning." Meanwhile, deep inside the Council's fleets, alarms blared. Red lights flashed, warning of sudden attacks. Alien crews scrambled to respond, but their massive ships were slow, cumbersome, and unprepared for the speed and cunning of human tactics. From hidden satellites, human intelligence teams watched every movement. They adjusted strikes in real time, anticipating the Council's responses before the aliens could react. One by one, outer stations fell, leaving the Council shaken and confused. In the Council chamber, panic spread like wildfire. "Impossible!" shouted the Supreme Chancellor. "They have no fleet this powerful. No species has ever dared to attack like this." But the humans had not yet revealed their full strength. In the void beyond, stealth cruisers zipped between patrols, their energy disruptors activating in precise sequences. Council ships experienced sudden malfunctions, shields flickering, engines stalling, communications scrambled. The humans struck where they were weakest, exploiting their arrogance and overconfidence. "Remember," Voss reminded her commanders, We are not stronger than them. We are smarter. We are unpredictable. Every move counts. Stay sharp, stay fast, and hit hard. The human fleet moved like a living organism. One strike, then vanish. Another strike, then vanish. Each time, the council tried to respond, only to find their massive fleets outmaneuvered by smaller, faster, and more intelligent ships. In one particularly daring maneuver, a group of human frigates bypassed an entire fleet and targeted a communications hub. Within minutes, the Council's ability to coordinate attacks across the sector was severely crippled. Confusion spread like fire among their ranks. "Admiral," Shaw said, his voice tense. "They're regrouping near the virus belt. They're trying to cut us off." Voss leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "Let them come. We know the terrain. We know their weaknesses. They are large and slow. We are fast and clever. This is our advantage. We will not retreat." As council ships converged, humans executed one of their most daring strategies yet. Using a combination of stealth, rapid strikes, and energy disruptors, the human fleet created the illusion of a much larger force. Council commanders hesitated, unsure which attacks were real and which were illusions. That hesitation was all humans needed. Explosions lit the stars, council ships damaged and scattered, unable to regroup effectively. The outer systems were now under human control, even if temporarily. The first strike had been a success, and the shockwave of fear spread through the galaxy. On the Resolute, Voss allowed herself a small nod of satisfaction. They underestimated us. They always do. But even as the fleet celebrated its initial victories, Voss knew the Council would respond with full force soon. This was only the beginning. Humanity had proven it could strike, but now the real test awaited, surviving the wrath of the Council's main fleets. "Prepare for their counterattack," she ordered. "We move fast, we fight smarter, and we never give them what they expect." Far across the sector, the Council's Supreme Chancellor seethed. No species had ever defied the Council openly, let alone caused this much damage in the first strike. Humanity had shown one simple truth: they were not weak. They were not predictable. And they were a threat the galaxy had never seen coming. In the darkness of space, the humans waited. Silent, agile, and unbroken. The first strike had been successful, but the war had only just begun. And one fact was certain: humanity would never bow, never surrender, and never be underestimated again. The silence of space shattered with the roar of massive engines. The Council had reacted. Hundreds of colossal warships, far larger than any human vessel, emerged from hyperspace. Their arrival cast shadows over planets and moons, a chilling reminder of their sheer power. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes scanning the approaching fleet. Her jaw was set. "This is what we expected," she said calmly. "They strike with full force now. Every plan we made must work perfectly." Her officers nodded. The tension was heavy. For the first time, the Council was no longer distant. They were here, and humanity would face their wrath head-on. From Earth to Mars, citizens watched the sky, unaware of the incoming battle. Yet for those in the fleet, every second was critical. Voss turned to her communications officer. "Send out all civilian evacuation protocols. Every colony, every station. No one left behind." The Council ships advanced, firing warning pulses that lit the darkness. Massive weapons bristled on their hulls, capable of destroying entire cities in a single strike. But humans did not flinch. They had prepared for this. Every human ship, every energy disruptor, every stealth cruiser was ready. "Deploy the decoys," Voss ordered. "We make them think our numbers are larger than they are. Let them waste their fire on shadows." Stealth ships split off in perfect formation, creating false targets. Council cannons fired, devastating empty space as humans watched in silence. Then the real fleet struck from angles the aliens had not predicted. Missiles and energy pulses disabled several Council ships before they could even respond. Despite the humans' clever tactics, The Council's retaliation was brutal. Their ships were massive, and their weapons were devastating. One human frigate exploded in a burst of fire and debris. Alarms blared across the fleet. "Focus on survival first," Voss shouted. "Strike only when there's an advantage." The human fleet moved like a single organism. One strike here, a diversion there, energy disruptors knocking out shields, and stealth cruisers vanishing into the darkness. Every move was calculated, every decision crucial. The Council's advanced technology was powerful, but humans were unpredictable. In orbit around a small moon, a Council battlecruiser fired its main cannon. The blast illuminated space, threatening to destroy nearby human ships. But thanks to a careful diversion, the cannon hit nothing but empty rock. "Another victory," Shaw whispered to his colleague. "They still don't understand us." The battle raged for hours. Human ingenuity and coordination kept them alive, but the cost was high. Every officer and crew member pushed to the limits of endurance. Civilians were being evacuated, and communication lines were stretched thin. Yet despite the chaos, humans continued to fight with precision. In the Council's command center, the Supreme Chancellor slammed a clawed hand on a console. "These humans, they are different. They do not act like other species. Their minds are dangerous." The aliens began to adapt, changing formations, coordinating attacks. But humans had prepared for adaptability. Using clever tactics, they led Council ships into asteroid fields and planetary rings, where the massive warships could not maneuver easily. Small human vessels struck relentlessly, exploiting every weakness. Even so, the humans were not invincible. Ships were damaged, systems overloaded, and casualties rising. Voss knew the Council would continue until humanity was crushed, or until they realized humans were not so easily defeated. "Hold the line," she shouted. "Do not give an inch. Remember who we are. Humanity survives against all odds." The human fleet continued to push back, striking key Council vessels and retreating before counterattacks could hit. This delicate balance of offense and defense would define the outcome of the battle. And somewhere in the chaos, humans achieved what no one expected. They began to turn fear into advantage. Council fleets hesitated, unsure of human strategy. Every hesitation was a victory. Every calculated strike, a message. Humanity would not be destroyed, no matter the odds. After hours of fierce engagement, both sides paused, assessing losses. Council ships were damaged, some retreating temporarily to regroup. Human ships limped through the debris of their victories, battered but alive. Voss looked at the remains of the battlefield, her face calm but determined. "They came to crush us," she said quietly. "But they will remember this day. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity fights, and we do not fight like anyone else in the galaxy." The Council's retaliation had been powerful, terrifying, and relentless. But it had also revealed a truth they could not ignore. Humans were clever, adaptable, and fearless. A species once thought weak now stood firm, defying the mightiest beings in the galaxy. And deep in space, beyond the battlefield, Admiral Voss and her fleet prepared for the next move. The war was far from over, but humanity had shown it could survive against impossible odds. The galaxy had been shocked once. It would be shocked again. The galaxy held its breath. The Council, once unchallenged, now faced a species that refused to bow. Massive fleets assembled near the human-controlled systems, ready to crush the defiance once and for all. But humanity had a different plan, a plan no alien could predict. Admiral Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, looking at the Council's forces through the observation window. Ships stretched across the horizon, immense and powerful. Yet, she felt no fear. Humanity had survived worse. Humanity had adapted, fought, and won where others had failed. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "Today, we declare not just resistance, but war. Humanity will fight on our terms, and the galaxy will learn that we cannot be controlled." Every human vessel in orbit responded, engines flaring as they moved into formation. Stealth cruisers took hidden positions, frigates readied their energy disruptors, and missile platforms aligned with deadly precision. The humans were ready to strike, but not recklessly. This was a calculated assault designed to shake the Council to its core. On the Council's capital planet, the Supreme Chancellor watched the humans mobilize. "They dare challenge the Council itself," he hissed. "No species has ever done this. They will be crushed." But the humans had already moved. Small fleets slipped past the Council's outer defenses, striking key communication hubs and command centers. Explosions lit the dark space above the planet, sending shockwaves that reverberated through the Council's fleets. "Target the command center," Voss ordered. "We hit the heart of their power, and show them who we are." Human ships darted like shadows, weaving through enemy formations. Energy disruptors blinded sensors, missile strikes disabled weapons, and stealth ships emerged where the Council least expected them. One by one, Council vessels fell into chaos, unable to coordinate or predict human movements. In the middle of the battle, Voss activated the holographic communication link to the Council's capital. Her image appeared before the Supreme Chancellor and his counselors. "You have threatened us," she said, her voice calm and clear. "You have warned us. But humanity does not bow. We will not negotiate. We will not surrender. We declare war, not out of anger, but out of survival. And we will fight with everything we have." A stunned silence filled the Council chamber. No species had ever spoken this way to the Council before. The Supreme Chancellor's claws twitched in anger. "This is unacceptable," he growled. But the humans were not finished. Using every tactic, every hidden weapon, every clever maneuver, they struck the Council's command fleet. Massive vessels disabled, communications jammed, shields down, humans pressed forward with courage and intelligence. Every move was unpredictable, every attack precise. On the Resolute, Voss watched as the Council flagship began to falter under the human assault. Smoke and sparks streaked across its hull. Council commanders had never faced an enemy so relentless, so adaptive, and so fearless. "Now," Voss shouted, "converge on the central command. Show them the power of humanity." Frigates surged forward, stealth cruisers flanked from the sides, and energy pulses struck the Council flagship in a coordinated assault. The massive vessel shuddered under the human attack, its weapons offline, its systems failing. For the first time, the Council's invincible image was shattered. In the Council chamber, the Supreme Chancellor roared in fury. "This is impossible. How can a primitive species defeat us?" But humans were not primitive. They were clever, adaptable, and united. And above all, they were fearless. As the battle reached its peak, Voss addressed the entire fleet. "Remember this day," she said, her voice echoing through the command channels. "Not just for victory, but for what humanity stands for. We fight with courage. We fight with heart. We fight because we must survive, and because we will never be underestimated again." The Council flagship trembled and finally fell silent. Council fleets scattered, damaged and confused. Humanity had struck a decisive blow, not just physically, but mentally. The galaxy had witnessed a species that refused to yield. And then, from orbit around the Council capital, Voss delivered the final message. "We are humanity. We survive. We fight. And we declare, war is not our choice, but it is our reality. The galaxy will remember this day. Never forget, humans do not bow." For the first time in galactic history, a species had openly defied the Council and survived. Not through numbers or sheer power, but through intelligence, strategy, and an unbreakable will. The battle was over, for now. The Council was wounded, their perception of humanity forever changed. But the war had only just begun. The galaxy had been shocked once. It would be shocked again. And humanity had declared itself a force to be reckoned with.